to Books and Things with me. And April 21st, we're getting on through the month. Pretty soon it's going to be May. We're going to have a lot of flowers out there. I read an article in the Day by Martha Shanahan, day staff writer, and it started out with, on a normal day, a plate of 4 chocolate chip pancakes dusted with powdered sugar at the Shack cost $8.49. But dozens of local diners got their pancakes free Saturday, and a pay-it-forward scheme gave a free lunch to even more after a woman left a note and $100 and signed it, only Brian's mom. Well, I thought that was fascinating, and after I wiped my tears away, I decided to contact this lady and see what this is all about. Anyway, her name is Ann Dagle, and Ann is a president of the Brian Dagle Memorial Foundation. So we're going to let you find out all about Brian and Ann. And welcome.
Thank you, Tom. Pleasure to be here.
Good. I saw that story and I said, wow.
Yeah, that grew into something I had no idea would even happen.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those feel-good stories.
It was, and a feel-good story on a day that wasn't a good day for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I never know how I'm going to face that day.
Yeah.
So that day...
Birthdays are tough.
Birthdays are tough days. Yeah. And it doesn't get any easier.
No.
So I just thought, what would he be doing today? And I could just picture him at the Shack having a Shack Attack breakfast, his chocolate chip pancakes and probably a side order of hash. Or he would be at Flanders Donuts having a gooey Boston cream, I think he used to like. So I just thought, you know what? I'm going to do a little pay it forward in honor of him.
Yeah.
So I did, and then it exploded.
That's a great idea, though.
It was.
And actually, the Shack had more money at night than when he started with.
They did. They were desperately trying to find out who Brian's mom was. Yeah. And then through a process of elimination by some of the comments on Facebook, they contacted people they knew, and the Shack contacted me and said, you have no idea what you have started here. It took them till 8 o'clock that night to use all of the $100.
Wow.
And so they said at one point there were 2 tables of young kids eating chocolate chip pancakes. So it did help me throughout the day. Every time I checked in on Facebook to think about those smiling faces.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that I didn't tell anybody I was doing that, anybody in my family.
Yeah.
And then as I kept checking Facebook and seeing that it was kind of exploding, when I woke up on Sunday morning, I saw how much it exploded. And I hadn't said anything to my husband. So I looked on Facebook and I said, I think I better tell you what I did yesterday. And then a few minutes later, the Day called and asked if they could do an interview. So I said, of course. So.
And you also did the donut shop.
I did. I gave $24 to Flanders Donuts because he would have been 24. Wow. So I said, take this. And I just did it through the drive-thru, gave them a note, and left.
Mystery lady.
And then that's how I was at the Shack, too. I just, it was a rainy day, so I had on my black raincoat, just walked in, head down, gave my note, and left.
Yeah, and you left it said you left a note, too, that, please use the enclosed money to pay for some customers' breakfast plates this morning. The note read, the Shack was one of my son's favorite places to eat. Today would have been his 24th birthday. Since we don't celebrate with him, please help me share his love and his birthday with others. I think that's when I started with the tears.
Yeah.
Now your son died how long ago?
It's 4.5 years. He died in November of 2011.
Let me ask how?
He died by suicide. 19 years old.
What can you say?
No. He was the boy next door.
Yeah.
He had great friends. He was away at college, transitioned to college very easily. Had a lot of, loved his teachers, loved school. He was in Vermont. That was his great place he loved to be. But he struggled, and he didn't share it enough with everybody so we could help him.
Yeah.
He struggled with depression and anxiety, and we weren't able to help him.
Suicide is just so tough because it's not cancer, it's not a disease, it's not a car accident. It's just why
a senseless loss.
Yeah.
Where we think in our hearts the survivors. I'm now a survivor. That's what we're called, survivors of suicide loss.
Yeah.
That we could have saved him, and because the stigma associated with depression and anxiety and mental illnesses, and that we don't talk about that.
No, and nobody wants to.
Nobody wants to.
Because there's something wrong. He's being selfish. He's
right.
He's not right. And I told you a story about my friend.
Right.
He's lost a daughter, and then his son committed suicide, knowing the mess his mother was already in.
Yeah.
It's just
people get to a dark place where they go down that tunnel and they can't see the people they love.
Yeah.
They can't see that love. All they can see is the pain, and they need to end that pain. It's not that they want to leave us, but they need to end their pain. I mean, think about it. If you're in physical pain, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and I read in a book. I don't know about you. I read a ton of books.
Yes. Yeah.
And some son went out and committed suicide. Mm-hmm. And they imagined that he probably sat there and said, "Uh-oh, I can't get back."
Right.
And it's probably true.
Yeah,
because
many times. There's a speaker, and he travels throughout the country. He's survived a jump from the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, wow.
And he has a book, and he does talks all throughout the country. He'll be here in Connecticut in May. And Kevin Briel, I think his name is. But he talks about that jump.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's get him all the way down. Huh. Let me know where. I'd like to.
I will.
Go see him myself. I think, my son was 21. He died almost 22 years ago in a car accident. I hated God. I hated everybody. Because somebody could have stopped him.
Right.
And then you realize that a couple of years later, I realized that I started thanking God for having 21 years with him instead of taking him away after 21 years.
Right.
And once you can get to that point, you feel a little better.
You can start to heal.
Yeah, you start to heal, start to feel like, and now I yell at him.
Of course you do, yeah.
Jump up.
Yeah.
And people say, "Oh, look at gray hair." Yeah, that's my son's.
Yeah.
Different things that I can blame him for everything.
Of course you can, yeah.
And some of the stuff I really believe he does. I have feathers.
Okay.
The sign is feathers.
Feathers, yep.
Since the day we buried him, there was a big black feather on the grave. And I've been getting feathers. I probably got 50, 60 feathers home.
Wow.
And a cute story, I think I've told it before. I went to Staples to buy a printer. And the guy showed me different printers, and he said, "Look at this one. This is a, I forget what the name was anyway, Canon." And I said, "I wanted a Canon." So he pulled a box out from underneath the shelf, and sitting on the box was a feather. And he goes, "What's that?" I took it out of his hand. I said, "That's mine. I'll take that one." My son gave me that. So I believe in him.
Yes.
And it's because they turn up in weird places. Now, do you have any?
I do. Hawks are a big sign for us. The hawk. I had some crazy hawk sightings when Brian first died. Coming into places that, well, first of all, my backyard, like scooping down low, sitting on branches, going off of exits, flying across me when I was walking. Many, many hawk sightings. So hawk sightings are a big sign for me. So, yeah, and just kind of weird, funny things. So, I truly believe he's here, and I think if it weren't for him guiding me, I couldn't be doing the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's his guidance and his strength that are allowing me to do it.
Yeah. Now, you were in the book.
Yes, I am. Why go on?
Why go on?
Yes.
Funny story, when she was at my house because I'm in the book too.
Yep.
And when she was at my house, we started taping.
Okay.
And I've got 2 rooms. And I had closed the bedroom door and the bathroom door because it was blowing, and I didn't want to be interrupted. Plus, I had to clean the bedroom. And so we closed the doors. So she asked me a question. I paused and heard the door open and close. And she went, "Is that tight?" I said, "Better be." Because the wind blew in, so the door couldn't open.
Right.
But that door, and she got it on tape.
Wow.
And so that's amazing.
Yep.
Great book, all about people like yourself that
Yes.
you wonder why in the world has this happened. But somehow it seemed to get up and do something better.
You know, I wish I knew how. I wish I could give people that answer, especially people who I meet so early in their grief. Like, Ian, how do you do it? I can't give you that. Everybody's different. They have to go their own path. But all I can say is if you can just take just a sliver of hope, just if I can offer you a little bit of light, that you will somehow get through this. I never thought I would. And I'm sure you didn't either. And I'm sure you didn't want to. No.
Stand out in a lightning storm. Take me,
Yes,
here I am.
yes, of course.
And he looked down and said, "You asked."
Yeah, no, you're staying here. You have work to do.
But now this foundation that you started, and how long has it been since?
It's only been about a little over a year and a half since we've started it.
Wow.
But it has come a long way in a year and a half. Yeah. So, you know, I started it with the vision, our mission statement. I started with I wanted to provide hope and healing and support for people who have lost a loved one. And at that point, when we just started the nonprofit, because we went through all the 501c3 forming and all of that status, I thought I can do this grief thing. I have, you know, I've been there. I can support people in their grief and loss and offer healing. But then it really has evolved because we lost Brian by suicide. We also do part of our mission statement is to promote suicide awareness and prevention, warn people of the risk signs, risk factors, and offer education through that as well. So that's what we're doing with that. So we really do both grief support and suicide prevention.
So it's really growing.
It is growing, yeah.
And you were telling me about your ultimate goal.
Our ultimate goal is to have a healing center for loss. Everybody loses somebody in their life.
Absolutely.
And I've found and I've seen through other people, it is so important to face that grief. You can't hide from it.
No.
I can't run away from it.
No. It's there. It's going to be there forever.
Whether it's the grief of the loss of a loved one, or the grief of the loss of a job, or the grief of the loss of a marriage, or a pet.
Yeah.
It's grief.
Oh, I had people say, "Well, I only lost a dog." No, it's not only loss. That's the biggest loss you've had.
It is that's right. That's their big loss.
Big deal.
Right. So people have to recognize that and justify that the pain they're feeling is.
And like you said, the divorce is the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've been here 3 times, so I know.
So a healing center for loss, and we've done a lot of fundraisers, and the community of East Lyme and surrounding towns have been phenomenal.
That's great.
So we're using that money to bank it right now, and hopefully sooner rather than later, use it towards a down payment on a center.
Well, I wish you luck.
Thank you.
We certainly need something like that.
We do, we do. And the more that I do this work, the more that I see how important it is.
And there really aren't that many groups around that do it.
No, as you know,
As
right?
I know, right? Because I started one over in Groton there at Loved Ones Lost. Because when my son died, there was zero.
Nothing.
The hospice, they had no idea. Nothing. And
Yeah. Or they have it for 6 weeks. So
well, that started that afterwards.
yeah.
It started
Or
at
you
6.
have to be. They say, well, you have to be either 6 or 7 weeks out from your loss, or no longer than 13 months. Or if you don't fall into that category, then
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah, I'll show you a 30-year woman that lost her son 30 years ago, still has his shoes under
Of
the
course.
bed and hasn't changed the bedroom.
Yeah.
And won't go on vacations. I think she's afraid she's going to miss him. And
So it's so
that's sad.
important.
Yeah.
It's so important. And I used to travel to Massachusetts to go to a support group. I couldn't find anything here that I felt comfortable with. So it's definitely needed. Yeah.
it is. In the group, we've had 13 people there. Everybody seems to get along. And the idea being that you're all in the same boat.
Right.
You all know what's coming next. Well, they don't know what's coming
They
next.
don't know what's
but-
coming next,
But you
right.
can help them.
You
and
can,
This
yes.
is what you
Right.
want to look out for.
And you're just holding space for them.
Yeah.
That's all they need.
Yeah. And it's just that one guy shed tears. Couldn't talk about the death. And I saw him afterwards and I said, I got to work on you. Because I remember at first I couldn't talk about it.
No, I couldn't either.
Start crying.
I couldn't.
And I was running a store. And you're not supposed to do that.
Right, right.
And I told the guy, I said, I'm going to keep doing this until the tears stop. And it took me a couple of months. Not that it stopped completely, but I could talk about it.
Sure.
And it's just, it's mind over matter. You're trying to get out.
It's 4.5 years and I'm just now coming back into life.
Yeah.
I think I have been the past couple months, but without having my guard up. I would always make sure that I would go places that I'd feel fairly safe and I'd be okay.
Nobody's going to say anything.
Right. So, but it's taken a long time, 4.5 years. And it's interesting because I've been doing a lot of presentations on grief and loss. And last week I did one for the grief to suicide loss. And it says between 3 and 5 years is how long it takes somebody who has lost somebody to suicide to integrate back into life.
I went about 8.
Yeah.
I think I cried for 8.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see beyond one step.
Right.
I was a mess.
Yeah.
And I did meet a lady that I'd known her for years, and we worked together and got my life back in order. Wrinkles, I had wrinkles, and they're all gone. But yeah, it was about 8 years, and then I was writing a book in the meantime, and I don't know how I did that. And on the 10th anniversary, I got the book published, and then I could see that I was doing something.
Right.
And you want to try to sell the book and talk about it and everything else.
Well, I find too, the more you tell your story, that's part of your healing too.
Yes.
You have to talk about the person
Yes.
you lost. So telling that story, whatever version you want to tell, because it's your story,
Yeah.
and it can change all the time. But
Absolutely. No one knows the difference.
right. But I think just talking about, I felt more comfortable talking about my son with complete strangers than I did with family members.
They feel that they went through it and don't need to listen.
Yeah.
And it's not true because they didn't go through what you went through.
Right. Or they don't like to see you in pain either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I couldn't see them in pain because they were in pain.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So it was hard for me to see them in pain.
Yeah. My brother wouldn't come and see me, would hardly talk to me.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'm suffering too. And I'm thinking, it's my son.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he had his own way of suffering.
Yes.
And everybody does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nobody's alike. And I think that these programs that you and I are trying to do are warranted. And we're not trying to be sad. We're trying to
Oh, no.
just be healthy.
Yes. Yes. You have to get that out. You have to talk about it. Again, part of the healing process. You have to understand that what you're going through, you're not going crazy. Because lots of times when people in their grief, your mind is just, you feel like you're going crazy, and you're not. You're not.
No.
So it validates people's feelings to know. I just started a group, actually we're in our 5th week, 6-week group that we're doing it by a curriculum. We're following a book. This is the first time I've started that one. So when you come in and you end within that 6-week time frame, but we're following a curriculum this time. And the first night, one of the ladies says, "Thank you so much, I'm not going crazy." So, yeah.
I have a webpage also,
Okay,
Loved Ones Lost.
okay.
I have 150 60 members,
Nice.
and it's all over the country, actually.
Oh, okay.
And because, it's on Facebook.
Yep.
It's not a web page, it's a
Facebook page, okay.
And the only way you can get in is you've got to boss somebody. And I have, if somebody wants to join, they got to come through me.
Good,
And
yeah.
if they haven't lost anybody, no, they can't get on.
Good, good.
Because I want people to feel comfortable.
Yes.
And they do. After a month or two, sometimes they'll start to talk about
Right.
their losses, and
Right.
and you feel bad for them. And all the other members welcome
Support
them.
one another.
Yeah, they do.
I actually did, that was my first support group that I used, was a closed Facebook page dedicated to people who lost from suicide.
Yeah.
And I would go on there. I was addicted to that at first because I needed to feel normal
Yeah. Yeah.
in this crazy world that I was thrown into. So that helped me.
Yeah.
That helped me.
It's a vicious club that we have joined.
Yes.
Never knew it existed, didn't want to be there.
No.
But we
No.
paid the ultimate dues,
Yeah.
and here we are,
I
stuck.
know. I know. It's sad, but some of what I get back from it now is it's amazing.
Isn't it nice?
It's amazing to.
I have a lady writing to me from England. She got my book online, and she wrote to me in May of the year before last. And she said, I saw your book online, and my husband and I, in April, this is May when she wrote to me, and she said in April they had made a dinner, and they washed the dishes and sat on the couch, and he died.
Oh,
And they've been married like 5 or 6 years.
yeah.
And I suspect it's older couple there. And she's been writing to me for 2 years.
Nice.
And it's nice because I'm watching her grow, and her patterns have changed. And a success story.
It is, and yeah, I have a couple people like that. I do I facilitate a support group at Connecticut Hospice. I volunteer there.
Okay.
And that was my first run about doing a support group. And there was a woman who came in who had lost her husband, and she was, the poor thing, was in so much pain. And weeks were going by, months were going by, a couple months were going by, she wasn't getting any better. And then all of a sudden, she turned a corner. And all of us in the group could see her face had more light into it. She held herself differently. Her conversation was lighter. And we're like, wow. It was just, I felt so good because she has come a long way.
That's great.
And
great.
People need a space to go there. And they need to understand that this grief is work. So I tell people when they're coming, you're going to do grief work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because you've been through it, it's easy to comment, and people do listen. I don't know why, but they do listen.
They do. They do.
Because they want to hear somebody say, it's going to get better. Sorry, I can't say that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
'Cause it's probably not. It'll be with you forever.
It will be, but I tell people it gets softer.
It does, it does.
Yes, it gets softer.
And, I mean, I still have times when, bam, I go into tears of whatever. In Southeastern Connecticut, Survivors of Suicide Loss Support Group. And it's first and third Thursday of each month at 6:30 to 8 at 59 Lime Street, Old Lyme. You don't have to write this down. Write to me or write to Ann, and we'll be happy to give you all the information. There's also a Southeastern Connecticut Grieving Parents Support Group, and that's also in
That one's in East Lyme.
East Lyme. And again, check up on it, or go to the same place I got this information, which is the website.
My website, yes. brianshealinghearts.org.
Yes. Go to, and it's up on the board there. Go there, check it out. If you feel that you need some help, stop in. And I've also got loved ones lost, and we go on the fourth Thursday of the month, and that's at the Groton Regency in Groton. So we're trying to help people, and it's just more and more every day, though.
There is.
You
There
know,
is.
it's just,
Well, now with all of the overdoses with the heroin,
Oh, God.
there's a lot.
Don't these people read the papers?
I know.
There's so much death out there because of it.
There is.
I'm glad they got that Narcan, but
It's a Band-Aid.
yeah, because they're just going to go out and do it again.
Yeah, it's a Band-Aid.
And it's just nasty, nasty stuff out there. I've never seen the newspaper. Every day it's like 2 or 3 people.
I know.
Sad.
But I think, again, it goes back to the roots of it somewhere start with some type of mental illness.
Yeah.
Or depression or anxiety that people are trying to self-medicate because they don't want to talk.
Good.
Right. They don't want to talk about their feelings, or they don't feel that a safe place that they can talk about their feelings because of we still have a stigma surrounding it. And it's so important that every program that we do for suicide prevention and awareness, we do a forum annually in East Lyme. I have all kinds of programs at the high schools that I do. I always, not that I'm a good Twitter person, but I do hashtag keep the conversation going because we need to talk about it. We need to get the word out there and educate the families and the parents and most importantly the people who are suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's constant. I know I've been to so many funerals for my son because I'm the one that's got to be there now. And it's just so sad that so many of them
I know.
crashed cars and what do you tell them? You know?
I know.
And I've had a talk to a high school student, and I said, it's not just you that dies.
Yeah.
I said, see all the people sitting next to you? They all got problems. Your parents, your family, your friends, everybody.
Yeah.
Drive careful.
Yes.
And who knows if they listen or not.
I know.
Probably don't.
No, well, you know.
Well, I think this has been interesting, and I hope everybody has gotten something out of it. We're not trying to make everybody sad. We just want to make everybody aware of what's going on and the possibilities of help. If you know somebody who needs some help, have them call one of us, and we'll be happy to oblige and talk. And that's what I do best. Except listen. I like to listen too.
Yes, you're a good listener. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's important that I give hope to people. That's all I want to do is give hope.
Yes.
When you think you have none, I want to offer hope.
No, you're right. Because when you're in there, there's no bottom.
No.
It's just, and I used to think during that first couple of years, I think somebody's going to hit me and I'm going to die. I know I am because I can't survive like this anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, next week is, there it is. I lost my page. Next week, we've got Loved Ones Lost on Monday, April 25th. And you can see past TV shows on YouTube. And go to sec-tv.org, excuse me, and look for the YouTube button. Press that, and you can see any of the past shows. Next week, we'll be visited by the City of Groton Mayor Marion McGalbraith will be here. Say hello to those. Say I love you to those that you love every day, because sometimes there's no tomorrow. Trust me on that one. Spring is here. The nights are getting warmer, but it's still a great idea to cuddle up with a good book. See you next week. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being here.
Pleasure.